Papa John's delivery? Did somebody order a pizza? I wanted Domino's! I thought Bluegeta was good before, and I know that I was in the minority there, but now... oh boy, now. He feels super, super strong right now. The Season 3.5 patch just hit on PS4, and we have been going through some of the changes. And oh my goodness, the Bluegeta buffs are really satisfying, really good. I think this character is super strong right now. If you're wondering what his downsides are at the moment, I'm just going to tell you right now, it's his assists are a little bit lacking, but other than that, he is really good. If you're wondering what he got this version that really sets him apart from where he was before, besides for taking some steps to fix some big issues he's had with his ki blasts in the past, the really big thing this patch is damage. He does so much damage in so many situations. He two-touches you so much more now than he ever did before, while building pretty good meter too. So yeah, if you're wondering what happened for him this patch, a lot of it is damage, some of it is some really practical stuff, fixing some issues he's had in the past. I'm going to try and run through his buffs here right now, and give context for why they matter, and show off some of Bluegeta's strengths as we go along, even if they weren't things that were specifically new to this version. And this way you guys can be as excited as possible to try him out, or at the very least know what he's doing whenever you do end up running into him. He's definitely one of those characters that will probably blow you up the first time you fight him if you don't know what he's doing, so hopefully this can help you guys out and get you guys excited about learning the character in general. The first thing that happened with Bluegeta, his ki blasts got super, super buffed. These ki blasts are ridiculous now. In general, they just feel amazing to use in combos and amazing to use in general. So he has two ki blasts he can do on the ground and in the air. His standing ki blasts in the ground, or his standing ki blast in the air, or his crouching ki blast on the ground, or his crouching ki blast in the air. You can see the crouching version goes up whether he's in the air or on the ground. And now in the air, he actually keeps his momentum when he tosses the air version. The hit stun on these also went way up, and now they allow for some really good combos. They allow him to do things like super dash, even when he's already used his smash or his launcher and have it connect. It allows him to do things like end in his command grab no matter how scaled the combo is. And it lets him do things like always get a sliding knockdown anywhere on the screen. This also lets him combo into his medium grab anywhere on the screen. And if you know anything about Nappa's restands, this is a big deal if you want to pair these two people together. It's a big deal. And being able to combo into his medium grab is always going to be a cool thing because it allows him to get a wall bounce in the corner and some pretty good extensions while he's at it. These ki blast buffs also make some of his more optimal combos a lot more consistent and a lot more satisfying to do. Honestly, I don't know what's optimal with him anymore because clearly there is so much more flexibility with how he does his combos. I'm not a combo channel, that's not my focus, but even I can tell that he is going to be two-touching people all the time now, and that is so cool. Because of these ki blast buffs, you can even get a sliding knockdown on really heavily scaled combo starters like a Dragon Rush, really without even trying. This is my third attempt at finding a Dragon Rush combo in 10 minutes, and it does 3,800 damage for any one assist that you could possibly combo with, keeping your sliding knockdown too. Also, did I mention that these combos are fun? Because they're really fun. The ki blasts are just satisfying to use anywhere you can, whether it is in neutral, whether it's in combos, it doesn't really matter. I love this change so much. This character was already a blast to play before, and now that he feels so much more stable and has so much more flexibility in how he does things, I am super excited to keep playing this character. Now, I do want to mention that his ki blast does still have the very bad glitch that it had before. And if you're wondering what that glitch is, let's set the opponent to reflect. You can see if I get my ki blast reflected, I can no longer cancel into any other moves. I'm trying to cancel into a heavy here, but it just doesn't let me. It doesn't let me. This glitch is still in the game. It's a real bummer. And it seems that Arxis wasn't able to figure out how to fix the glitch. So instead of doing that, they gave him a buff instead to compensate for it in the same situations. And the thing is, when someone would reflect your Ki Blast or Super Dash through it, you had no way of stopping them because you couldn't cancel into anything anymore. So if the opponent read your Ki Blast and Super Dash through it, you could no longer 2H anymore. A lot of other characters can 2H when their Ki Blast makes contact with a Super Dash, but not Bluegeta. So what did they give him to make up for this? Well, they let him cancel his Ki Blasts into either Big Bang Attack or his Supers anytime, even on Whiff. So both of these Whiff, I can still cancel into Big Bang Attack. Both of these Whiff, I can still level 3. It doesn't matter. And the really silly thing about this is that even when someone Super Dashes at an angle when they didn't travel through the Ki Blast, and a normal character wouldn't be able to cancel into 2H, I can still level 3 to save myself, which is just super silly. Now here's something kind of cool. Let's say someone gets hit by these Ki Blasts instead. What do you think we can do? Well, for starters, we can just Ki Blast again and it works. And we can actually do it again and it still works. Also, we can do this, which is my personal favorite way of converting it. And I'm sure we could extend this more, but that's 3,700 damage for 1 bar with a sliding knockdown from a Ki Blast, which is very safe to use, hits both the ground, we can angle it into the air, is just... it feels good. It feels good. And this brings me on to the next change that he got, which is his level 1. This move got really buffed. So first of all, it goes full screen now. It's huge, it goes everywhere. It also hits higher than it used to. As you could see, we were able to convert this Ki Blast all the way up there and still get the combo. All you need to do to get your extension is, instead of just letting it rock like normal, if you continue to hold the buttons, it will launch them up and they'll fall back down to the ground and you can go and get a combo that way. Just run up and do whatever you want to do. Now this had some uses before. It is actually invul, just not immediately. The invincibility takes a little while to kick in, so you can't just do this on wake up and get ridiculous damage. Probably for the best. But what you can do is react to a bunch of special moves in neutral and get some amazing reward for doing it. So I hear you guys don't like Broly, or at the very least, I hear that a lot of you think he's kind of a menace right now, and you'd be right. If you're wondering how he's doing in the current patch, he's doing just fine. He didn't get any nerfs. He's exactly the same as he was. A lot of other characters got buffs though, so I think we're going to be able to handle him a little bit better. And one way that we can deal with him better is when he's going for this ball in neutral, we have a lot of options now. A lot of characters actually have some options for this now, but one thing that Bluegeta can do is just react to it with his level 1, and there's really nothing Broly can do to save himself here. Now, do yourself a favor and just look at the damage here. That is over 50% health, 5,260 damage. I have not labbed this very long. I do not know what's optimal. I know people are going to optimize this so much more. I didn't use any assists, and we still kept a sliding knockdown for 1 bar. That is crazy. And you know what's also crazy? This isn't all blue damage. And this is a super lazy combo, even lazier than the last one. And it's not all blue damage. It's an invincible move that's being used to punish something full screen. Most other things like this, you'd expect it to be all blue health and it would all be able to be recovered, but that's not the case here. This is so cool. Papa John's delivery, did somebody order a pizza? I wanted Domino's! Anyway, this is up to you guys what you want to do with it. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff you can react to. You could even react to something like a Super Dash, although it's easier with a real anti-air or with a level 3 in my opinion. This is just much more rewarding if you can get it to work. This character is going to be so fun. I cannot wait. I can't even describe how good it feels just to do stuff with this character now. These Ki Blasts they just feel good, man. They just feel good. I feel like there's no recovery on them. You're just moving along all the time. Oh, I love this character. This character is so sick. I'm not gonna lie and tell you he's the best character in the game, but man, he is actually super scary now. By the way, what I've talked about so far really only covers the changes in the new patch that I think are really important for him. I haven't talked about any of the things that he could always do that made me believe he was good all along. Remember I said I thought he was always good? Well, I actually mean it. I'm not memeing. I'm not trying to push some kind of weird Bluegeta agenda. He's just honestly been good this whole time. His mix-up's been good this whole time. His damage has been good, but he couldn't get a knockdown all the time if he really extended his combos. Now that's not a problem. His corner carry has always been super good. His mix-up has always been great. Let's talk about this stuff, okay? Okay, so for starters, he has a low 2L. Low 2Ls are great. Low 2Ls let us do mix-up like empty lows and have it actually be difficult to react to and actually catch us off guard. Low 2Ls let us do 50-50s. Was that a 50-50? Yeah, it was a 50-50. You stand up and I fall on the ground, you get hit. What if you crouch? Well, I air dash and I hit you high. 50-50. Really simple. 50-50. How does that work? Well, let's talk about his kicks real quick, his records. Every Vegeta has kicks. Base Vegetas go really far and can cross you up. Super Saiyan Vegetas go really far. Can combo pretty well. Blue Vegetas are excellent for mix-up. They have rekkas attached, meaning they have follow-ups. So there's multiple kicks involved, multiple layers. You don't know when he's going to stop. He has multiple options there. They work well for combos, but what we're talking about is mix-up. So how does this work for mix-up? Here's the thing. You do the medium kick. You call your assist. That locks them down. True block string. Once the kick hits, there's nothing for them to do. And then Vegeta's in the air here. Let's do this in the corner so you can see what I mean. Vegeta's in the air here. Anytime our character is in the air just above the ground, we can always air dash and go for an overhead, or we can land and go for a low. 50-50. If you have a fast enough low, this is a 50-50. Tons of characters do stuff like this. Usually, this sort of thing costs meter, or you have to do a big risk like super dash and call your assist, and if you happen to have a 2L that reaches far enough, then you can go for an empty low, or you can air dash and go for a high. If you're not doing this, this is really good. I recommend it. Well, what's wrong with this? First of all, usually you can get mashed out or reflected or anti-aired as a guess. If we set the opponent to anti-air as a guess, we can get anti-aired. And what's worse, we can probably get happy birthday depending on the assist we use. So although this is a super good mix-up, it does carry risks. What about Bluegetas though? Well, this is a frame trap. You can frame trap into the kick instead, which gives us the same 50-50 after it's blocked. And this is also a pretty good combo starter. At the very least, it's a lot more damage than you'd probably expect to get from a super dash. By the way, I don't even know if this is optimal. I'm sure there's better damage I could be doing here. So you can't anti-air to beat it. Can you mash to beat it? No. If frame trap's mashing too, we have Frieza set to mash with his fastest attack, which is a 6 frame. And if a 6 frame isn't going to mash to beat it, nothing's going to mash to beat it. What about reflect? Can you reflect? Well, yeah, you can reflect. Yeah, you can reflect. You don't really get a punish or anything for doing it, but you can reflect. Now, what I recommend to get around this, pretty much every 50-50 in the game has some sort of option to disrespect it besides just guessing on the coin flip. Whether it's a high-low 50-50 or not, there's usually some way of disrespecting it besides just guessing on the coin flip that is the 50-50. In some cases, it's a guard cancel. In some cases, it's a call-out like an anti-air or jumping. In this case, it's reflecting. Now, what I recommend to get around this is to simply put your rocket kick at a point in your pressure when you still have a low option available. Because if you still have a low option available, you can just true block string into a low. Now, you're not going to be able to see this with a CPU when you're using counterattack settings because it's just set to do the counterattack the first frame it detects that they are recovering from something on block or on a hit. So it's not trying to reflect in block stun, but a normal person is trying to reflect in block stun. They're guessing when you're going to have that gap. A CPU just knows a person has to guess. And if you reflect when you're in block stun, you have to stand up because reflect is back and key blast. Back and key blast gives us reflect. So if you have to stand up to do it, a true block string into a low is going to clip your toes and murder you. And remember how I said that Blue Vegeta has some high damage right now? He's got some high damage right now. You probably don't want to get hit by a 2M Remember, this is just going to be a true block string into a 2M, and it'll clip someone who is trying to stand up and reflect right after the 5M, for example. And if you get hit by this 2M, let's just say you're not going to be feeling it, Mr. Krabs. So yeah, it's a good mix-up. It is a good mix-up. If you're mid-screen, you probably aren't going to be close enough to 2L, so you're going to have to do stuff like go straight into crouch medium, which at that point people will tell you isn't a true 50-50 because it's slightly later than the overhead, and you know what, they're actually right. They're totally right. But you can make this tricky by going for Dragon Rush instead, or by going for, obviously, air dash overhead, or you could go for air dash, fake out overhead into low, you name it. So you have a lot of options here, and if you can get to the corner, it just becomes a true 50-50 where you can go low, or where you can go high, and they hit on the same frame, so, or there's like a 1 frame difference. So at that point, good luck guessing. You're gonna have a fun time if you're defending against it. So his mix-up's pretty good. He also has some other weird things, like he has different rekkas, so he's got the light kick, which keeps him on the ground, and you could do this with an assist, and a lot of people will just get hit low because they're so conditioned to stand up here. Or you could use his EX kick, which, by the way, goes really far in neutral. And you can do stuff just like toss out a key blast. If they block it, you EX rocket kick, and you take your turn, and you have a great time. Or you just make them block a key blast in neutral, and then you cancel that into rocket kick, and you just mix up right away off that. By the way, he also has multiple follow-ups, which can pretty much all frame trap. So before we go on to a sort of gimmicky mix-up real quick, you can just see if we tap M follow-ups will always frame trap, and they're pretty good combo starters too. And in the corner, all of these M follow-ups just give us combos. No matter which one we hit with, the medium ender all the way at the end is going to wall bounce and give us something good here. And because people are always worried about that next frame trap, it lets you do stuff like just do a single kick and then reset your pressure and get your turn started. And oh, this time they're not going to let you get away with that again, so they try to mash, but this time you do more rekkas and you frame trap them. And you get to play these kind of mind games because rekkas just let you do that. I know a lot of people find rekkas annoying. They're really satisfying when you use them well, though, so enjoy that. So you can cancel any kick and any other kick, and you get 3 in a row, right? So there's 3 different versions of the first kick: a medium kick that goes pretty far and puts them higher, a light kick that's really fast and keeps them closer to the ground, and of course there's different middle versions too, right? If you use the EX kick as your second kick, you always go behind the opponent, and you get to do another kick after that. This one will frame trap and cross up. So if you've never seen this before, it's going to hit you the first time, I promise. After that, you'll probably start blocking it. Now here's where the cool mix-up, for me at least, is. I really like doing this. We do the EX, and then as we do our medium, hold on, let's do this in the corner so you can see a little bit better. So you do your EX, you cross up, and then you medium kick, and you notice this medium kick puts us in the air. Boy, this looks familiar. Doesn't this look like we could get an air dash into an overhead? Or we could just land and go low, or we could even just do the light version, which keeps us on the ground anyway and lets us go for a cross up really fast or a low really fast. It's pretty nice. So you just do this, you use your assist at the end there, and you air dash and go high, or you land and go low. That'll look tricky. That's a true block string, so don't worry if that ever happens. It's not gonna like left right mix up the opponent. It's just there to jail into a high low. Regardless of which direction they're blocking, the only thing they have to worry about is high or low, if that ever happens. And you might be wondering, why would you ever do that when you could just do the first kick and go for a mix-up right there? And you're kind of right, but sometimes it's really nice to be able to side switch, keep your turn, and also maybe get a mix-up while you're at it. Oh, so you might have noticed earlier when I was showing these combos, I'm always ending them with these command grabs. He has command grabs, right? Yeah, he has command grabs, and a lot of people think they suck because they don't hit crouching opponents. And yeah, that is kind of a weakness, but that is not what they're there for. They're not there to command grab the opponent in the middle of a block string. He's not Broly. He's not here to just frame trap and go for 50-50s with a command grab. That's not his plan. The thing that's really cool about these, well, actually there's a few things that's really cool about them in addition to being really cool combo enders and combo tools. Because they hit an opponent who's standing, and because it looks like he's in the air, a lot of people who react relatively quick will actually stand up when they see this. I don't think this is going to happen too much anymore, because they actually sped up how fast this is, so it's a little easier to use in combos. And because it's faster, even if someone were to flinch and stand up as a reaction thinking he was in the air and they had to stand up, they'd probably do it too late and they'd probably duck it anyway. But you know what you can do is you can actually jump and look like you're going to go for an instant air dash, or maybe you even do the instant air dash and then you just do the overhead. And the medium version gives you a combo. The only downside to starting a combo like this is that you can't end with another command grab, because once you use one, you can't use another one. It's kind of that way with most characters, with some exceptions. So you're going to have to find a way to end in an air Dragon Rush, probably by using his assists. And that's totally fine. Or you can just end in his air level 3, which also got a really nice buff. Let's talk about that super quick because I don't want to forget about it. Previously, Bluegeta's level 3 was abysmally slow. Like, so slow that if someone were to super dash at you, they would just like fly right through Blue Vegeta and keep on going while he's whiffing Final Flash in the other direction. It was awful. Or if someone were to ever do a special move into a Vanish, and you wanted to be a stud and just level 3 the Vanish on reaction, you can do that now, but before the level 3 was so slow that they would land, recover from the Vanish, and block your level 3. So that's not a problem anymore. This buff is actually really huge, even though it was sort of glossed over by a lot of people, not really thinking it was that big of a deal. This also means that when someone super dashes through his Ki Blasts, he's in a much easier position to get a consistent punish against them. So these kind of air to ground command grabs are pretty common in this game, and they take advantage of our built-in reaction to stand up when our opponents are in the air. So we get a soft knockdown there. Our opponent's like, oh, he's just gonna land and go for some kind of safe jump, gotta stand up, and you get scooped. I wouldn't rely on his command grabs for mix-up too often. I've done that in the past and it's gotten me KO'd plenty of times, but it's really nice to have and it's not actually that bad. Just don't make it the foundation of your mix-up. It's a lot less solid than that kind of thing. It's a lot less solid than going for strong high-low mix-up or Dragon Rush mix-up or cross-ups or whatever. So just keep that in mind. Another thing that's interesting about his command grabs, I'm purposely doing this full screen just so you can see what I mean. They go through Ki Blasts. They are Ki Blast invul pretty much from start to finish, except for a very short period of time at the very, very beginning that you can get hit at. And in some matchups, you can imagine this would be very good. So against Frieza and Broly, there's special moves that they use that both of them can get reaction punished with this move, right? We covered that earlier. And this is a lot of damage. And also, now it's like, Ki Blasts are scary to do because, well, yeah, I mean, I have a tool that just goes through Ki Blasts. I wouldn't rely on this again too much because these tools are always a big risk, although they did get a little bit less recovery, especially the medium version. But boy, if it doesn't feel fantastic to just scoop Broly from 2/3 screen and get a pretty decent combo. It's not the best combo in the world. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that this is obliterating Broly, but it's like 3k for half a bar. I'm totally fine with that. Having tools to deal with some of the best zoners in the game, whether it's reacting to something or playing rock, paper, scissors with them in situations where you kind of just had to chill out before, is really, really nice. Also, you could probably imagine some situations in the corner where you get a sliding knockdown and you kind of back off a little bit and you go for a medium grab in the air, and if they up tech, you might grab them. Not all the time. If you get your timing wrong, they might be able to double jump over you or air backdash, but a lot of the time you scoop them out of the air. And at the same time, maybe you call an assist to cover the ground. And what's really cool about this is if they don't just get hit for some reason, you can totally just air dash and go for a high or land and go for a low. So you get your 50-50 option if they happen to respect you here. You can even do this kind of mix-up just anytime you're on offense and just let it rock and call your assist. There's a pretty reasonably sized gap here, but remember, if someone's trying to reflect your Rekka mix-up as a guess, this actually beats some of the bigger characters because when they stand up, they're so big that they just get grabbed, and then you get a combo. And this character definitely has mix-up, and we haven't even really talked about the universal stuff, like, you know, using a 6M in a situation where you could have Dragon Rush, or you could have crossed up, or you could have gone for a same-side mix-up. All of that's there too. He's just just really solid on offense. One of his weaknesses before was how little damage he got from Dragon Rush. One of the most solid mix-up tools in the game was not giving him much damage. Originally, you couldn't end with that at all. You couldn't end with his sliding knockdown because the combo would scale too heavily, and the grab wasn't fast enough, and the Ki Blast didn't have enough hits done. It was very difficult to extend Dragon Rush combos before and get really good, meaningful damage. And when you can extend a Dragon Rush combo, you get so much more meter. You get probably 1,000 extra damage if you can do it properly with your character. And that's usually the difference between 2 touching a character or 3 touching a character. And being able to KO a character in only 2 hits is an enormous benefit in this game. I honestly think that being able to extend so consistently with this character now is an enormous buff for him and probably puts him up an entire tier above wherever he was before. So yeah, what are some of his weaknesses? Well, some people would probably say his normals aren't the best, but I don't think people really care about that because he has almost identical normals to Super Saiyan Vegeta and very similar normals to base Vegeta. Both characters that I think people at this point agree have pretty good neutral. And I think one of his big problems before was just that his Ki Blasts were not up to par, especially when you compared them to Super Saiyan Vegeta or base Vegeta. Well, now I really don't think that's the case. I think they kind of uniquely do their own thing and are really cool while doing it. But I'll give you that. His air normals ain't the best. For example, he isn't the easiest character to snipe Super Dash with. You can still do it. I kind of accidentally did it on the first try there, but yeah, his JL, man, stop hitting the Super Dash. I'm trying to make a point here. Stop it. I'm trying to screw up. Okay, maybe they buffed this. I don't actually know. I can't not get it now. Okay, his JL's actually pretty good. Never mind. But his 5M's decent. His JM is decent and is honestly an excellent cross-up. His damage from things like same side Super Dash is generally pretty good, and he pretty much always gets a sliding knockdown now. His damage from common tools like Super Dash is pretty good, and it's just, you know, he's pretty much always going to get a sliding knockdown now. It's really hard to find anything drastically wrong with him at this point, and the only thing I can come up with is his assists kind of suck. His assists, well, I don't want to say they suck, but they're below average. I think his B assist is his most flexible, easy to use assist, and it's what I would probably recommend in most cases, but it's not perfect, right? It's not Bardock assist. He gets hit on startup a lot of the time. He doesn't have the priority that a character like Yamcha or Bardock has on their fast strike assist, and that's a little bit of a bummer. But it's still perfectly usable for combos, it's still perfectly usable for offense and pressure. His Big Bang attack has a ton of damage and hit stun on it, and is really easy to convert if it does hit. The problem is mostly just that it's super slow, hard to make use of, and is, you know, very easy to maneuver around since it has so much startup for the other opponent. So you can't just toss it out in a scramble or toss it out in neutral usually. What you can do is cover a lot of options with it. You can surprisingly use it pretty similarly to Super Saiyan Vegeta's assist, just on offense only. So if someone were to wake up here and maybe they would reflect or reversal or go for a vanish, and we just call our blue Vegeta assist, he's just there to punish him. Even Broly has an assist kind of like this now, where you can sort of just call it in a scramble and it punishes so many defensive options, right? You get your sliding knockdown, you call your assist that doesn't quite appear on the screen. They're kind of back here, right? And then they vanish or they reversal or something, and it might just hit them out of it. There's a lot more of those in the game, and I'm not saying they're bad. They're pretty decent assists, but it's hard to beat the flexibility of a fast strike assist, so that's what I prefer. Both assists, in my opinion, are lacking in one way or the other, and his C assist is, to me, it's just a C assist. So if you like C assists, it's easy to use, but I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, personally, that's my only real gripe about this character, is I don't love the assists. So I think if you're going to play him, I'd probably recommend putting him on point, so you don't have to worry about that too much, maybe mid. Other than that, I think he's excellent. I'm struggling to find anything seriously wrong with him as a character. He's not the cheapest character in the game. He doesn't have the most brain-dead neutral in the game, but he's pretty damn good. And he's really satisfying now. So if he interests you at all, I highly recommend giving him a shot. You will have a lot of fun with this character if you stick with him for more than like an hour, I promise you. And hopefully, if you never want to touch this character in your life and you're just worried about fighting him better, I've helped you out with that a little bit as well. The patch just dropped. Roshi is coming out. We're going to have a Roshi video out. I'm going to try to have it out tomorrow. So if you are watching this in the very now present, look forward to that. There's plenty of more stuff on the way soon. Thank you for watching.